Hi guys, this is Blues for the Horn, and this is 5 questions I'll be answering about the process, the inspiration, and the journey behind my new EP, which is out now, called Painful Love.
Why is the EP called Painful Love, and what does that mean to you?
Do you know what? It's actually quite random. So Painful Love, the actual name, it wasn't planned. Basically, the intro is a conversation between my cousin and I. We just had a random session, basically, and this was years ago. This is how crazy it is, like probably 3-4 years now. And I recorded myself. But why I recorded myself is because I was talking her through some of the lyrics behind the project. We just like talking about the EP and like what it means and stuff like that. And we started getting a bit deeper. And this is just, and I forgot that I was still recording. So it kind of worked out perfectly because I kind of took that. I was like, wait, I swear that was a recording and da 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 da. So during the actual conversation, I started speaking about what it means. And then I think in the intro it mentions that, like I mentioned, like, why do black women always, go through painful love? I don't want to go through painful love, There's that trauma that we tend to have in the black community. Yeah, it's actually quite sad because I don't want to go through painful love. Although it's called Painful Love, it's my way of saying I acknowledge what we are going through as a community. To be fair, I don't want to say as a community because it's not. It's my experience of painful love and what I've seen around me. So for me, it was my way of saying I don't want to do that. I'm trying to break that cycle of painful love. It's an acknowledgement of what we're going through. It was kind of inspired by just a conversation. And I know that a lot of people don't want to go through that, so it should be relatable as well.
This EP has a lot of live instruments throughout. What inspired you to do that?
Oh my God. I love a bit of saxophone. I love a bit of bass. And it was something that I definitely wanted to do. Like when I was speaking to my manager about it, I was like, Faisal, like we need live instrumentation. I think for 2 reasons. One being that I've matured as a person. I'm a grown ass woman now, aren't I? So like for me, it was like a way of showcasing that to the world. Like live instruments to me means maturity. I don't know if you've ever been to like a jazz cafe or like a place where like there's just bare live instruments like sax playing, the bass. It just makes you feel good, but also quite mature. So like for me, it was my way of like showcasing my maturity, both within my lyrics, but also with the sonics to the sound. And also, I think it had to be different. For me, it was like, it was important to have live instruments because I love live instruments. There had to be a distinction between the first EP to the second EP. To be fair, I will continue using live instruments. So we were blessed to have a saxophone for 2 tracks, and also, that's a lie. We also had like drums, like live drums. We had live bass. There was one specific song that had everything that was live, like everything. So that's crazy. And that opportunity to do that was incredible. So yeah, really blessed by that. And I'm really happy with the result, I think.
You talk about some really deep topics like black struggle. What inspired you to write a song like that?
Black struggle, specifically in a song like Hoya Says. I remember when I wrote this, I was in a really like sad place. Honestly, it was around the time of when like the whole George Floyd was going on. As much as like we live it, we are black people, we understand the politics, we understand navigating white supremacy, racism every single day of our lives. But I think for me, there was a lot of things, and I remember like even taking time off social media and like just really like, I needed that break. And during that break, I started to write this song. But why to that break is there was a lot of conflicting like things, just a lot of information, and that's really dangerous to anybody, right? There was I call it this eruption of consciousness. Well, it's not my phrase, but like that's how I see it, like an eruption of consciousness that was happening. We saw young people for the first time really and truly understanding and challenging and interrogating white supremacy, and I absolutely loved it. But then there's this also side to me that was really sad. I work for a charity as a trustee, and during that time we were doing a lot of like racial work around like BLM and like getting the young kids, specifically the black kids, to really like showcase their trauma through the arts, right? Through singing and songwriting. And I remember that there was one specific girl, she understood racism, but she was like trying to navigate it. She couldn't believe that this was like a reality, if that makes sense. And I think every single Black person goes through that struggle in terms of like what was going on and stuff. Like that was my way of showcasing that pain. I mean, a lot of us did protest, but for me, my way of protesting was writing that song. It was important because we live it. Like Black struggle is unfortunately what we go through every single day of our lives. So showcasing that was something really important. I consider myself to be super like political as well. So yeah, it just felt quite natural.
Why is it important for you to include your language and culture in your music?
Being a British Somali in this industry, I feel like there's not that much of us. I feel like I'm so proud of this kind of awakening, and like even you like being a creative in this like industry and being Somali is so important, because we're like, I don't want to say it in the come up, a lot of us were asylum seekers or refugees, that obviously implies that there's this kind of gap where a lot of people think they'll go back to Somalia, but a lot of us are still here and like are educated and doing incredible things. And it's not just the nurses and the doctors, which is incredible, and I'm happy that is that, but we've got the creatives now, right? Because of that, and because we are becoming more and more present in the media, I wanted to like, I always do this, it's quite a natural thing, but for me I want to kind of flex a little, you know, like I want to be like, yeah, I'm Somali too, and just remember that I'm an R&B singer, but I'm a Somali R&B singer, you know, and I want more and more people to feel inspired that I can, to be fair, I'm not that great in Somali, but using words like shukansi or hoy or like just very like significant words or phrases that we normally use on the day-to-day and like normalize it. For me, it's like we just got to represent, innit? Got to represent our culture. So that was really important, and it's something that I'll definitely continue to do.
Why does the project end with an upbeat song called Rainbow?
The EP is called Painful Love. It starts off quite sad, quite emotional. It gets to the interlude, which is like, oh, this is mad and sad and emotional, cry, cry, cry. And for me, it was like, I wanted to have that element of hope, but also that element of like, through hardship comes ease. So it's like a journey. Like this EP, I think, is really, I didn't see it then, but I see it now. When I listen back, I'm like, rah, like, it starts off like doubts, wanting to find love, admitting to this insecurities, talking about the hardships that Black women face, not just love, but everything. Finishing off with, sorry, like a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Celebration. Yeah, like celebration, and like there's light and like at the end of the tunnel, right? So like for me, that was really important to just have that upbeat, because I didn't want it to feel sad. Like there's not, as much as again it's called Painful Love, I didn't want it to end with sadness. I wanted to end with celebration, optimism, hope. Yeah, and that's something like I want to continue as well. Like I hope the next journey of my life is more optimistic and like positive. Not that it's not now, but like even more. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was really important to me.